Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. We're in the midst of chapter 20 of the text of A Course in Miracles. And if you have just recently joined us, welcome. If you've seen many of these videos, which now number well over 1,000 over the course of the past 3.5, soon to be 4 years, again, welcome. There's a lot here. And as always, here on the spiritual path, we have plenty to discuss. Don't we? Always. Yeah. So, what's worth our understanding here and our contemplation, at least our holding the idea in our mind, thinking about it, and letting it jump around in your mind and simmer and percolate. Use whatever verb you wish. It's for our contemplation. There are some basic ideas that underpin our conversation today. Ideas leave not their source. That's one of them. And the other is that the separation never occurred. When people like this pixelated image on your screen, spiritual teachers of any spiritual tradition use phrases like going home. That's a metaphor. You are home. There is no place in truth to actually go. However, while we think we're here, that phrase may be of great use and motivation to you. Give it to the Holy Spirit for the purposes of healing the mind, and forgive the Son of God and yourself for dreaming it. Okay, so let's come back to these fundamental underpinnings of our discussion today, which, by the way, you could say about all of the discussions on A Course in Miracles. Ideas leave not their source. What does that possibly mean? Well, it means thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. So think about it here in terms of the world where we think we are. We think we're here. I mean, it certainly looks like we're here, but this isn't us. We appear only to be here. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. So here in this chaotic madhouse, and it is that, it is that at all times our peaceful moments don't last forever. You may be having a beautiful life with a beautiful, loving relationship, with a lot of money. You may have your physical and financial needs met. Things may be going your way, yet none of that is lasting. Why, the world isn't lasting either. The physical body certainly doesn't last, does it? So here, while we think we're here, thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. This is useful for us on a lot of different levels. Ideas leave not their source. Our hateful thoughts remain in our mind. Think about it. When you have judged people, when you have lashed out and blamed, doesn't matter if you physically said or typed anything out, that really doesn't make any difference. You had the thought in your mind. That thought of hatred didn't just magically go away, it stuck around and most likely went on to foment more hatred. Our hateful thoughts remain in our mind. Now, happily, our loving thoughts remain in our mind too. Our thoughts of forgiveness, of meeting hate with the love of the Holy Spirit, those thoughts remain in our mind. Our loving thoughts, our happy and joyous, loving thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker, and in fact, they grow stronger. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. What we try to do here in the world is project our thoughts of guilt and fear onto someone else. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's this political party's fault. It's that political party's fault. It's the government's fault. It's the business world's fault. It's the weather's fault. It's that passing cloud's fault for covering my sunshine. For example, many examples we can think of. We can't stand the thoughts of guilt and fear, so we attempt to get rid of them, projecting them outward, blaming someone else. We all do it. It's a time to recognize that for what it is, not helpful. That's putting it mildly. It's actually quite destructive to our peace of mind because thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. We cannot project them outside of us because there is nothing outside of us. There is nothing outside of you. We can't project our thoughts outward. We think we're doing it, but we're really not. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Now, also, ideas leave not their source. You may capitalize the S. Think about that. We're known here in this course as the thought of God, God's creation. Ideas, thoughts, leave not their source, capital S. Where are you? Exactly. Here's something else for your deep contemplation and ideally one day wholehearted adoption and acceptance. You have never left your home in God, and like extends like. God extends himself. Love extends itself. It could not extend anything but itself. Love does not extend hatred. The two are completely incompatible with one another. We try here in the world to have both, where we love on people one minute, hate them the next. I mean, it can be the same person. One minute, great, next minute, demonized. And a wild vacillation, a roller coaster ride that has us all a little bit stressed out and exhausted. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. We're perfectly at home in God. This is a dream. This whole thing here is a dream. Doesn't feel like it in the moment. And this is true no matter what's going on where you live, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on in your own personal life, because there's bound to be quite a lot happening at all times. You've never left your home in God. The separation, this perceived separation, never occurred. It never took place, meaning this is a dream. Enlightenment is quite properly referred to as awakening. That's a very apt term. The question for us here is, well, do we wish to awaken from the dream? Do we wish to see our brother sinless? Sinless, without sin. Sin is a separation idea. The separation never took place. There is no separation of any kind. Ideas leave not their source. It's impossible, think about it, to sin against God. Doesn't matter what you may have been told. This is A Course in Miracles. This video series is about A Course in Miracles. And if you ever sat through a Sunday school class, as I did, in your upbringing in a Judeo-Christian tradition, and not everybody is from that background, to be sure, but a lot of people are. I mean, I'm from that background as well. I would sit there thinking, this just can't be. How could sin even be possible? Perfect love doesn't condemn. Yeah, exactly. Impossible. There's no separation of any kind. God has no ego to be offended. We're not giving him offense with all of our mad, wild judgments here on Spinning Ball of Rock. This perceived separation never occurred. By separation, we think that we're separate from God. We think we threw away heaven. We think we cast ourselves out, in a manner of speaking, and we're running amok as supposedly individual human beings, individual self-sustaining survival units, out for number one. Yeah. In competition with one another that we've set up with our economic systems, with our political systems, with everything that we appear to see and experience here in the world. The reality is there's a deep well of unconscious guilt for thinking that we threw away heaven. The world has arisen to mask that and hide it, and we're attempting to project this outside. It's not outside. Ideas leave not their source, remember? Separation never took place. So when this course talks about vision and seeing with the Holy Spirit, in truth, vision's not necessary. And in truth, forgiveness is not necessary either, because there's nothing to forgive. There's no separation of any kind. However, however, here in this dream, where we think we are individual self-sustaining survival units, a term that you'll hear a lot on here, it describes the ego and ego identification quite perfectly. I can't claim credit for that, by the way. It's from a woman's resume in the 1990s that I saw one time, quite simply. And I thought, oh, that's clever. Fast forward 3 decades, it describes ego identification quite perfectly. We think we're individuals. We think that our life is our own, that we made ourselves. Ha! Right? God is the creator. Like extends like. There's no separation of any kind. So when this course talks about vision, understand it's necessary here that we take our own warped ego-driven, egocentric sight and replace it with the vision of the Holy Spirit, the way our inner teacher sees things, which looks right past all of our made up separation and folly to the truth of who and what we really are. So we're replacing our thoughts of guilt and fear with love. We're replacing the ego with the Holy Spirit, Jesus, God. We're replacing darkness with light, one moment at a time, as we learn to see with the Holy Spirit. This is what the Course refers to as vision. And of course, it's not necessary ultimately anyway. Truth is beyond all of this. Truth is perfect oneness. So there's nothing separate to see. There's no one separate to forgive in truth. But here, while we believe that we're on planet Earth in a body, like this could really limit the Son of God. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. While we think we're running amok here, these ideas have great value because this is how we awaken by learning to see with the Holy Spirit. Vision, vision of the Holy Spirit, is ours, but for the asking. It is available if we ask for it and when we ask for it, and as we begin to desire it, it's available for the asking right now. And chapter 20, section 8 here asks us, do you not want to know your true identity? Capital I. Remember, where are you again? What are you? Who are you? Go there, go there, go there. Remember, though, God's the creator. We're the Son of God. Like extends like. Ideas leave not their source. Capital S. Do you not want to know your true identity? Do you not want to replace all of your suffering and chaotic madness with joy? This is a choice that we all have, and we get to make it right here in the present moment. When else? Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Neither of those made up things is here right now. Do you not want to know who you are? Really, truly. Just remember that vision is freely given to those who ask to see. All right. Well, I thank you as always for joining me. Deep stuff as always. You deserve nothing less. We talk here in the world in a lot of different arenas about playing it small versus going big. And these things mean different things to us here in different contexts, like our business and job life, relationships. We have a marked tendency, all of us, to play it small and to go small and attempt to run and hide and limit our own, well, power, to limit our own ability to extend love, to share the Holy Spirit with the entire world at all times. The idea of playing it small or allowing the Holy Spirit to guide you and stepping out of that applies directly to our spiritual lives as well. So, to the extent that you're motivated to come out of hiding, so to speak, and begin to really let the Holy Spirit direct you, you will begin to see things very differently. And remember, vision is yours, but for the asking. Ask to truly see. This is how we do it. This is how we, under the guidance of our inner teacher, learn to see things as they really are. From there, truth dawns of itself. Truth, we've never left our source. And here, well, it feels like we have, and all of the physical body's senses and everything we read on the news, which, by the way, there's a lot of today. Everything appears to dictate otherwise, that this is concrete, fixed, lasting, and home sweet home, yet you know it's not true, or you wouldn't be on the spiritual path in the first place. And you most certainly wouldn't be interested in this course, which is very in depth and direct. You deserve nothing less. Ready? You're invited to join me. And by this, I mean you're invited to join me in forgiving the Son of God. Here in the world of illusion and social media channels and things, you're also invited to subscribe to this particular channel. That's the prompt over here in the corner of your screen. This is an international community. And well, we're talking about A Course in Miracles. We're going through the text, and the text is quite long. We're going as slowly as directed. So you're more than welcome to ask questions here. This is a perfect place for inquiry. I mean, what is spiritual practice but deep and profound self-inquiry after all? Along those lines, I'm more than happy to take a pause out of our journey through the text to record a standalone video or two or three or 20, whatever it takes to address questions that are coming up for you live. I'm here to be a guide for you. And if you have questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. So please do that. Again, please subscribe if you have not yet, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you.